Man, oh man. Boys starting school back. Kendrick starting his senior year. Dylan's going to fifth grade, and I can't believe he's fifth grade. He looks so tiny to me, and I'm thinking about him being in middle school. And Kendrick, a senior in high school. I remember being a senior in high school. So everything that I feel I lacked my senior year, I'm gonna make sure he's on it, and make sure I'm there for him and everything. His mom's the same way, so we gonna make sure he have a successful senior year and getting into college. Man, we've been going on college tours and Georgia Tech, let's see, Clayton State, and where we go, Clark. So I got an appointment next month for him to go to Morehouse college tour. So this is an exciting time. I'm nervous as heck, being a father to a senior and then soon college student, then a middle schooler next year. So my anxiety is up, and so this episode is about imposter syndrome, which I feel I suffer from. And so I'm about to do my spiel. I'm gonna go over what imposter syndrome, and then we're gonna really get started with the show. But so we talk about imposter syndrome, and it is a psychological phenomenon that affects individuals from all walks of life, regardless of their accomplishments or their abilities. Imposter syndrome refers to the persistent belief that one is a fraud and unworthy of their accomplishments, while actually being exposed and afraid of being exposed as a fraud. I feel that way now, and I'm gonna definitely get into details about that. But imposter syndrome can manifest itself in various ways. You may find yourself discounting your accomplishments, and just saying, chalking it up just to luck, external factors rather than your own competence of getting the job done. You may consistently fear that others will discover your perceived lack of, abilities and judge you accordingly. This mindset can undermine your self-confidence and hinder personal growth and hinder your ability to reach your full potential. What makes imposter syndrome insidious is that it can affect anyone, regardless of their actual level of expertise and accomplishments. Even the most successful individuals who seem to have it all together may battle with these feelings of self-doubt. It is critical to understand that imposter syndrome does not reflect reality. It is a distorted perception of oneself that stems from various sources, including fear of failure and high standards we set for ourselves. So I'm going to tell you, I never knew what to call what I felt, but I felt this way. I felt this way all my life, basically. Throughout school, people would give me compliments on my abilities, whether it was, speeches I gave in class, projects, and just things I did overall, my overall performance, whether it was teachers or other students. And I would discount it. I was like, nah, if they just knew what was going on in my head. So I didn't accept those compliments and everything that could have really boosted me and kept me moving forward. So I kind of just, discounted it basically. So even with like now, I have a day job and leaders are come to me to, they want me to advance. They want me to do more with the company. They want me to do all these things. And I'm doing a great job. Like I can honestly say I'm doing an outstanding job in anything I do an outstanding job. But there's so much doubt in my head. I have so much where I think people are talking about me. Even after I accomplish something, I feel people are talking about me. Like, I experienced this at my day job. I was every day almost. And then, of course, with Daddy Every Day, by now I should be a best-selling author. This podcast probably should be number one right now. It's me that's holding me back. Like in the beginning of when I was, selling books and things like that, I would put it on my friends. I'm like, hey, yo, my friends aren't doing this and my friends aren't doing that. They claim they have my back. And then I grew to realize, nah, dog, it's you. It's me holding me back, and it's a struggle. And it's like you would think, oh, just when you have those doubts, just push that to the side. It's real. It's just like whether you have some type of addiction or anything. Someone who doesn't have that addiction can say, "Hey, man, just don't smoke. Just don't buy the cigarettes." You can say that, but what a person's feeling on the inside is what's driving them, or in my case, holding me back. I'm excited to do the things that I'm doing, like with Daddy Every Day and partnering with other nonprofits and things like that. But it's those alone times. That's when it's really there. When I'm alone in my room, those are the moments where I feel the anxiety. Hell, perfect example is this morning. I didn't want to get out of bed. Man, I went to bed about midnight. I don't need but like 5 hours of sleep and I'm good to go. I stayed in bed to 11 this morning. Like I'm in bed from 12 to 11 o'clock. And the anxiety of I'm teaching Kendrick how to drive, and the anxiety of shooting this podcast, which I look forward to doing. I'm excited about being on the mic. Still don't like the sound of my voice, but others appreciate it, so I'm fine with it. But I had that anxiety that I didn't want to start today, and then I have work later on tonight, and I know I'm gonna kill it there, but I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to start the day. I figured as long as I'm in bed, I don't have to start the day. I had to just force myself to get up. And it's not an everyday thing, but I really felt it this morning. Like yesterday, I took my Dylan to go see the Turtle movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was phenomenal. Like I didn't even watch a trailer for it. And some of the voices that were in the movie was amazing. It was a great movie. I highly recommend it. And then I took him out to we went to Chili's. He wanted to go to Chili's, so we ate at Chili's, and I let him order a cheesecake and all that type of stuff. So of course I didn't experience any anxiety or anything. I'm just kicking it with my son, and he then told me he loved spending the whole day with me. And then there's where the guilt comes in, because we should be doing stuff like that way more often. And that's because we don't, because I'm in my head a lot. So I'm like thinking a lot, overthinking actually, about where I should be career-wise, not just in my day job, but where I should be career-wise with Daddy Every Day. And I know it's because of this imposter syndrome that I'm suffering from. So this episode is a personal one for me, but I know others that suffer from it because I talk to other nonprofit owners, musicians, other individuals that I feel should be higher up. Mind you, they feel the same way about me. And I hear them with the self-doubt. So I'm being encouraging to them, but I don't do it for myself. So with this episode, I want to give some tips. And when I give these tips, these aren't just, hey, this is for you. This is me talking to me, actually. And I just hope you actually benefit from it. There are several like strategies to use to try to overcome imposter syndrome. So what I'm going to tell you is the exact same thing I'm going to be doing myself. And, at the end of every episode, I like to give a challenge. So I can go ahead and tell you right now, the challenge is going to definitely be, if you identify with having this imposter syndrome, I challenge you to take heed to one, if not all of the things I'm about to go over. And the very first one is recognize and acknowledge your feelings. The first step is to be able to be aware of and acknowledge the imposter syndrome feeling when they arise. Understand that these feelings are common and that many successful people have experienced them. By recognizing them, you can start to address and challenge them. So for me, I want to be a best-selling author. Like, if you follow my story, you would know that I never dreamed or even thought of being an author. I was just inspired by Kendrick one day when he was 6, helping him with his homework. And next thing you know, I wrote Daddy Every Day. Just like that. And from that point on, I wrote several other books. So the easy part to me is writing the books or creating something. The difficult part for me is telling others. The telling others part is the part where I feel like I'll be exposed. Now, people, I have gotten, good book reviews and individuals that have purchased the book and used some of the strategies in the book have told me it has made a difference in their life. I mean, that's confirmation that what I'm doing is working. Yet and still, I have self-doubt about my ability to be an author and pushing my own product kind of thing. Whereas someone else is a musician or an author, and I encourage them to, push their own product. So it's a crazy thing. A lot of times you are great at giving others advice, but you don't take your own advice. So this is the episode that I have to make the change because I do feel Daddy Every Day is destined for greatness. Like I feel that. So like it gives me confidence in doing certain things because I know Daddy Every Day, whether it's the workshops, the podcasts, the books, I know people are being inspired, encouraged, empowered. I know that. I've been told that from the individuals that are experiencing these things. Yet and still, I have self-doubt. So I'm telling you, this is going to be the episode that changed, hopefully, others' lives, but it definitely would change mine. Another strategy is to challenge negative thoughts and beliefs. Imposter syndrome often stems from negative self-talk and limiting beliefs. Start questioning start questioning those thoughts and challenge them with evidence of your accomplishments. Remind yourself your past success and skills that you possess. It's every month, I should say, when I get a royalty check from my book sales, it's confirmation that what I'm doing is working. If I applied myself more, those royalty checks would definitely be larger. So I have those confirmations nearly on a daily basis to challenge those negative thoughts. Now it's about me applying that. Like every time I have a negative thought or self doubt, I need to challenge that with the evidence. The evidence is my book sales. The evidence is that people are watching the podcast. The evidence is that people are hitting me up to be a mentor to them. The evidence is that other nonprofits are reaching out to me to do partnerships. The evidence is that churches and organizations reach out to me to do talks. That's the evidence. That's what I need to be using to challenge those negative thoughts and beliefs that I have. Another strategy is talk about it. Share your feelings and experiences with trusted friends, family members, mentors, or a therapist. Talking about the imposter syndrome can provide support, perspective, and reassurance. Often you'll find that others have experienced similar feelings and can offer guidance and insight. So once a month, I do a hike with an organization called Accountability Brothers. And it's a group of brothers that just go hiking at different state parks and we just chop it up, just talk about what's going on in our lives, accomplishments, what we're struggling with. And it's amazing. So yesterday we had that hike, yesterday, meaning while I'm taping this, not when you actually see this. But I mentioned I was doing an episode on imposter syndrome, and then I went over with them what imposter syndrome was, and then a lot of them can identify with it. So they're actually looking forward to this episode. But that was my way of just getting it out because I don't talk about my self-doubt much to people. It's a difficult thing. When people think that you have it together, it's hard to come out like, nah, I really don't. I'm struggling. Especially as a Black male, to say that you don't have it all together. We're so forced to just be the alpha male, and we don't not allowed to show that, hell, we get vulnerable too. So it's hard to really just talk about it, but that accountability brother is a great outlet for me to be able to just share how I'm truly feeling and don't feel like I'm being judged. So the last thing I want to do is to feel like I'm being judged when I already come up with that scenario about everything I do and feel like I'm being judged. So, yeah. So it's great to talk it out. Talk it out with somebody you trust. Another is celebrate your accomplishments. Instead of downplaying and dismissing your accomplishments, which I do all the time, take the time to celebrate and acknowledge them. Keep a record of your successes, big or small, and revisit them when you need a reminder of your capabilities. Give yourself credit for the hard work and effort you put in to your accomplishments. We got to stop downplaying our things. I think even people who don't truly feel like they suffer from imposter syndrome, I just think a lot of individuals downplay their accomplishments. I mean, even the small win is a win. And I think we need to definitely give ourselves a lot more credit when we're working hard and our efforts are paying off. So embrace constructive feedback. Instead of fearing feedback or criticism, view it as an opportunity for growth and improvement. Understand that receiving feedback does not diminish your worth or validate imposter syndrome thoughts. Use feedback as a tool to enhance your skills and knowledge. Now, I'm going to tell you the very first episode I recorded of the Daddy Everyday podcast, you guys have not actually heard. The second episode of the Daddy Everyday podcast, you guys actually never heard. The very first podcast I released is not the first one I recorded. The first one I recorded was an epic fail. I mean, I felt the cringe of doing it. And then when I got the feedback, I shot another one, and that one bombed. I appreciate the brothers, my super producer, and then my homie Roy giving me that creative feedback. And I welcomed them, actually, because I knew how bad the first two I shot were. Like, we shot the first one, and it was awful. Like, it was awful. So we shot another one, and it was bad too. So once I become the biggest podcast in podcast world, then maybe I can show you guys. But right now, you guys will never hear that. But I embrace that feedback. Now, that could have been one of those moments where I did that and I was like, nope, and pack it all up. And then that would have been the end of my the grand opening, grand closing of my podcast career. But I took that feedback and I'm still trying to get better. I realized that, first of all, I have to be me. I can't try to be anyone else. I have to be me and be comfortable in that. And just know from what I'm doing now, like just the feedback I get from my podcast episodes, that people are listening. I got to do a better job at making sure more people are listening. So to really grow this podcast, because I know this is going to be a big thing. And that goes right into shifting your mindset. Cultivate a growth mindset by focusing on learning and progress rather than solely on outcomes. Embrace the idea that making mistakes and experiencing setbacks are a natural part of the learning process. Emphasize personal growth, development, rather than striving for perfection. That right there is exactly where I am. I am definitely in that, trying to shift my mindset and just focusing on the progress of it rather than the total outcome of things. Because when I think about trying to determine the outcome, it slows down my progress because I'm not working towards accomplishing anything. I'm just focused on the end, and the focus should always be on the daily steps to get there. Don't lose track of the ultimate goal, but your progress, your mindset should be focused on the things you're doing daily. It's like if you want to lose 30 pounds, you don't focus on the 30 pounds. You focus on working out every day, eating right. That's what you need to focus on. And then the outcome would then come. So definitely shifting your mindset. And that can apply for anything. If you're just trying to get a promotion at work, focus on what you're doing daily to get that promotion more than the actual outcome of getting a promotion. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Practice self-care. Prioritize your well-being and be patient with yourself. Remember that everyone makes mistakes and faces challenges. Treat yourself treat yourself as you would treat a supportive friend who is going through a similar experience. Support and mentorship. Surround yourself with a supportive network of individuals who believe in your abilities and can provide guidance. Seek out mentors or role models who have overcome imposter syndrome or have achieved success in your field. Their insight and advice can be valuable and navigate your own journey. And this is where I'm at. Like, I've started reaching out to a mentor in the realm of fatherhood nonprofit organizations, and he's definitely taking me under his wing and getting me more involved in other projects, outside of Daddy Everyday, and offer to be supportive in events that I throw as far as Daddy Everyday. So I'm trying to coordinate some events for September, so I'll definitely be letting you guys know about that to come out and support. But definitely being able to talk to individuals that are either where you are or they're going down that same path, but they're doing the damn thing. And you keep holding yourself back. You need to talk to individuals like that. And maybe not even in your same field. They can be just doing their thing in their respective field, but they are overcoming those challenges that you're suffering with. So definitely find your support system. Keep a success journal. Write down positive feedback, compliments, or times where you felt confident and capable. Whenever a self-doubt creeps in, revisit your success journal to remind yourself of your accomplishments and positive impact you have made. Now, that's a pretty good idea. I don't know if I would do a journal. I may do more like a checklist and like have it on my desk, and I'm just looking at it and I can instantly reference some of the things I've accomplished and everything, just to keep myself motivated and just assure myself I can do this because I've been doing it. Take it action despite the fear. Now, this is a big one right here. Don't let imposter syndrome hold you back from pursuing opportunities or taking on challenges. Take calculated risks. Step out of your comfort zone and recognize that growth happens when you push yourself beyond your perceived limitations. I'm telling you, and I say this almost every podcast, or at least every other podcast, if I wasn't challenged or just said, hey, we shooting this podcast, shout out to you, Big Lat, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. It's one of those things where I don't really push myself. I think it's one of those things that makes the difference between those that are working their 9 to 5 but want greater, and those that are working their 9 to 5 but they side hustle will soon become their main hustle. So it's one of the things I have to learn to push myself. It's just like with athletes. The great ones push themselves. They're the first ones at practice and the last to leave practice. Despite their abilities, they go harder than others. So that's one of the things I have to do, because I don't think my fear is like, or what's holding me back isn't fear-based. It's not like I'm afraid of failing. I'm fine with doing something that's not working. It's more doing something, it works, but I don't feel like I'm capable of continuing it kind of thing, or I'm going to be exposed and they're going to realize that what I'm doing is a fraud, but I'm doing it. Everything I've ever said to you guys, whether it's fatherhood advice and things like that, subject matters like co-parenting or dealing with depression and things like that, these are things I've experienced. And then I've experienced and I've found a breakthrough. This particular episode is one of those ones where this is where I am right now. Like my mindset, I'm trying to shift my mindset, the self-doubt and everything. And despite all that, I'm right here in front of you guys right now. You guys are going to be listening to this on your way to work or something, or watching this video on your lunch break. I'm doing it. I could have allowed my self-doubt to silence my voice, but I'm in the middle right now of trying to overcome it. And the only way to do it is to really push yourself. Like, so me doing this podcast, this episode right now, after feeling the anxiety this morning, is my way of showing you can push through it to accomplish your goals. So, to give you guys a kind of wrap up on that part, remember, overcoming imposter syndrome is a process that takes time and self reflection. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress. Remember that you are deserving of your accomplishments. With preservation and self belief, you can overcome imposter syndrome and thrive in your personal and professional endeavors. So, of course, I want to challenge you guys. If you feel like you suffer from imposter syndrome, I want you to challenge yourself this week for it to take at least a look at one strategy I gave you, and focus on that. Whether it's the pushing yourself, starting a success journal, changing your mindset. I suggest you definitely do that. I think changing your mindset can then lead you to doing the rest of them. But anyone you choose to use one of those for this week, and let that be your focus to try to help overcome your imposter syndrome. And now, for those that have listened to this podcast and it's like, well, I don't think I suffer from imposter syndrome, then all I have to say to you is, what the hell is stopping you from doing what you're supposed to be doing? What is stopping you from achieving what you want? What is stopping you from really pushing yourself? And if you say an individual outside of yourself, then I feel sorry for you, because if you're letting someone else hold you back, I have no advice for you on that one, really. All I can say is don't. And I can also tell you that that person's not holding you back. Whatever we want to accomplish, whether it's losing weight, starting your career, whatever it is, going back to school, people come up with scenarios to say this is the reason why, instead of looking at themselves to realize you're the reason why you can't go to that next level. Now, I know I've done that in the past to say, well, this person's the reason why I haven't got here, and those things, and it hasn't done me any good trying to do that. Put the blame, if you will, on yourself, and then make the corrections. Yeah. And then in conclusion, because I think this is good, when I write stuff down, I really want to use it, because I like to, you know how, you guys been following me for a while. In conclusion, imposter syndrome may be a common experience, but it doesn't have to define you. By acknowledging it, challenging negative beliefs, and cultivating self-compassion and reframing our thinking, we can break free from the grasp and grip of imposter syndrome and realize our true potential. Let us support one another in this journey. That's why I'm telling you, I'm putting it out there. I'm here. Contact information is in the notes if you guys want to reach out and talk further about it, because I'm in it right now of trying to change this and defeat this imposter syndrome. So reach out. We can talk, chop it up. But let's support one another in this journey and creating a culture that celebrates accomplishments and fosters confidence. Remember, you are capable and you are deserving, and you're not alone. So that's what I have for you on imposter syndrome, guys. Just know it is real. And even if you don't consider yourself having that, I challenge you to really dig inside yourself to say, what is stopping me? What is stopping me from doing that one push-up? Because if you get down to do one push-up, I promise you, you're going to do two. If you're trying to start, working out for your health, which we all need to do. What is stopping you from at least going online and looking at colleges? If you're thinking of going back, if you've been thinking about going back for years, what's really stopping you from doing that? If you are ready to start your career, you're already making music, what is stopping you from letting people hear it? If you've been thinking about writing a book, it costs nothing to start writing it. What's stopping you from just writing it? So if you don't have imposter syndrome, so what's stopping you? And if you don't have imposter syndrome, that's your challenge. What's stopping you from going to that next level? I say you need to shift your mindset, but that's me. But that's all I have for you guys. Definitely follow me along Instagram, Facebook. I'm gonna try to do better. Probably won't, but definitely Instagram. I'm not much of a TikToker because I don't. I'm just not. But follow me. The website, new and improved. I got blog posts on there now. You can also check out episodes of the Daddy Everyday podcast, daddyeveryday.org. I'm trying to build that up now. So definitely check that out. And that's all I got for you guys. Take care and make sure you take on the challenge. Peace.